Elaine, you were there. You were at the fights all week, actually.
All week.
Doing a lot of work.
Yes, sir.
Rolly Romero, Teofimo Lopez. Controversial at the end.
Was it though?
I mean, that's what people say.
Was it though?
Did you have Teo winning?
Well, look, not gonna lie, but I went into the fight a little biased. Not that I could be, so I was really respectful about it. But I've known Rolly since before he was, big.
Yeah.
And that's my guy, and I love him. And obviously, I wanted to see him be successful, especially, because I've seen his full 360 change now that he's accepted God and, Jesus into his life. So it's so beautiful to see that. He's changed just so much, just in the way he even carries himself. But you know what? The fight, I was, being very objective, not biased at all. And I had him winning maybe 2 rounds. And I started noticing around the 5th round, that was the first round that I actually gave him, maybe another one before then. But, after that, I just realized that, he was kind of holding back a lot. And I'm not sure, a lot of people, afterwards were like, hey, you know what? I think Rolly gave this guy the fight. Like, he had a 3-fight deal coming up with the Zone. It was this last fight with Top Rank, and Teo, just had more money invested in him. And, who knows? And someone went as far as, looking up a meme or a meme or a video. And at the end, when they announced the winner, Rolly and Theo were hugging, and he kind of like winks at him on his way out. So people just like rode with that, like, oh my God, Rolly gave him that fight.
But Rolly even said in the interview, I think with Top Rank, that if he had to give the belt to someone, he was cool giving it to him. And this is a couple days before, right? Because they're friends, they're cool. So I mean, maybe that could have,
I don't know. Maybe they had a little side deal. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's possible.
It's
possible.
No, I don't think so either.
I think he just respects Teo.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't say that before a title bout, though.
How you know? How many title bouts you been in?
None.
Exactly.
Did you say that?
No.
Exactly.
No,
Would you say that?
I think where he was going with that is saying.
Well, like it's all. Like,
well, no, I want to know that. If you have the title, are you going to say that in an interview before you're about to fight for the title?
Yeah. I'd be like, yo, if it don't go my way, I mean, this is not a person to hold your head down to losing to. I believe that's essentially what he's saying.
All right. I just feel like a fighter isn't even going to talk about losing before a fight. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think about losing. But
so that's why I don't feel like you would say that.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily he was talking about losing the fight, but I will say that based on being there all fight weekend, the respect was mutual. And from a brotherhood perspective, he's saying, hey, if I'm going to confront somebody and I have to give these belts up to anybody, why not give them up to my brother? Like, you know what? I win, you win, we win. It's that kind of vibe that he was giving. Not saying that he's going to hand him over to him. It
looked like Rolly almost knocked him out.
He rocked him. I'm telling you.
Rolly rocked him twice.
Yeah,
pretty
in the
bad.
5th and the 7th round, I feel like, Rolly is the most, he has the more power punches. He was an aggressive fighter. He had, more dangerous movements. But you know what? Teo was just adjusting. And, like he said in the post conference, you're going to have to do more than that. I'm not going down that easily, And I think Rolly, the only thing that I was getting frustrated just watching that is that he wasn't pushing forward enough. He was allowing, he was going in, like he said in the post conference. Yeah, I was picking and choosing my punches and going away. When someone else does it, they're praised, but when I do it, I lose. The fight. But the truth of the matter is that in those moments where he could have finished or he could have continued the championship rounds, round 11 and 12, where you could have pushed to actually close that gap. You didn't, and I don't know what was what was happening. I heard, from a lot of people that he wasn't really listening to his corner that much. Maybe in his head he had it all winning because, a lot of people are saying, and the only reason why I feel people are saying that he might have won that fight is because, he did do damage to Theo. Theo had his left cut, and that would happen in the 5th round, and he could have pushed that, and he just didn't, and Teo really wanted that more than he did, and he proved it that night.
Now, does that happen, especially with boxing, because there's so many rounds, right? You could do damage in 2 rounds, but there's so many other ways to score in boxing. So you could beat someone up in 2 rounds, but you can get a lot of the other fighter can get a lot of hits in. even though they don't do any damage.
And
for 10 rounds.
From what you know, what you feel in there, what you feel when you in there fighting, and what people seeing on the outside, it's two completely different things.
Because blood isn't always damage, right? Some people cut open more than other people.
Or he could have been doing something. All right, like I would have to see it. Like I said, I didn't see the fight.
Yeah,
but in the exchanges, right? Even something in those exchanges, whenever he rocked him and he's hurting him and he's hitting him. Teo could have slipped and caught him on the inside with a little shot, something that hit him hard. And it was like, even if it didn't hit him clean, could have hit his chest or hit his arm. Like, yo, damn, I got to be wary of that. I got to be careful of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that right in those moments that you might feel that be like, all right, damn, I can't really press that. Like if I press like that, the only way for you to fully find out is if I'm out cold.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So all right, I'm gonna play it a little bit safer right here. You know, so you never know what somebody's feeling inside there. Could have got hit with a body shot that might have slowed him down. You know what I mean? Like anything. Yeah. He could have thrown a punch and overextended and popped his arm a little bit. Now his arm's feeling a little, you know what I mean, a little tweaky.
Yeah, and I think you're going somewhere with that. You must know combat just a little bit, because in the post conference a lot of people brought that up and they're like, hey Rolly, we noticed that Theo was working the body, and was it hurting you, and how do you feel about that? And he kind of got upset. He was like, no, I didn't. And someone was like, well, your side body was red. And he got up, he showed his shirt, and he was like, no, it's not. And it was. And people were like, y'all, like, it's red. Like, he was working the body. Were you feeling that? And, Theo straight up said afterwards, you know what? I was working the body. That's literally what I was doing, is just like, trying to slip his punches and working the body. And I heard him, saying, oh, and just like grunting at those shots. So he knew he was doing something. At the end of the day, I feel like we do owe Theo a little bit of credit. He showed, good sportsmanship and class, and,
phenomenal boxer.
Yeah,
too.
he really proved that his chin can handle welterweight, and I'm excited to see who else he is going to go in the ring with. He did mention Liam Paro, or the winner of Conor Benn and Conor and Garcia. So we'll see how that goes. But you know what? He did really good at managing the distance, closing the gaps. He stayed consistent with his jab. He came in there and dispowered Rolly's jab, and it looks like that was one thing that Rolly really has in his pocket is his jab and his power. And I feel like Theo really studied him. And not only that, they had so many sparring sessions, so they kind of knew his fighting style going into the bout, So, yeah, no, it was a really good fight.
Do you think we'll see a rematch?
That's one thing I was going to say. Rolly's asking for a rematch, but Theo said absolutely not, that he's not willing. I don't think that there was a rematch clause, but I would like to see it. I for sure.
Because it was still a good fight. I mean, it went the distance.
It was a good fight.
It was a good fight. It was a really good fight. It really did. And, it's kind of weird looking at them being, such a, closeness, and they're being so close, going at it. But they really left it outside of the ring. They really left everything in there. I think that they just, from both sides, they could have just finished it, But nonetheless, I feel like Theo did not leave any room for discussion that the fight was stolen or anything like that. And, like I said, me coming, from a place where I seen Rolly just grow, I really wanted him to, just triumph in this space. But, Theo, congrats. He did excellent. I actually went to their after party, and they were having so much fun. It was pretty wild. I love seeing, winners team celebrate. And at the end of the day, a fight game is the fight game. And that's what they signed up for, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. I want to get to Brian's comment. What's up, Brian? We need to get him on the show soon. Rolly killed me because the fight was there. Rolly landed the only hard, significant punches, but Teo was way more active. Rolly needs to jab and fight off front more.
Yep. What's up, Brian? I was just talking about you. We're going to have you on the next episode, my guy.
The next episode. Come through, Brian. But I mean, do you get too confident that you did some damage, right? I mean, could that have been it? And so then you just kind of slow down and not keep pushing the gas,
Theo just continue to box consistently, and you can tell. Yeah. And, maybe you're right. Maybe, like you were saying, Jamal, that, maybe Rolly thought that he was doing enough damage and he was winning. He did have the power punches. He did rock, Theo in a few rounds, but he just didn't continue and push forward. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, just, go for it. But was this maybe a sense of, hey, that's my brother, I really don't want to hurt him, he has family, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that pressure would have gone a long way. And, going back and answering your question about points and how you win a fight, in boxing, you do not win a fight about, who gets the most messed up. It's all about a point system. And that's why it's called the sweet science. It matters, it matters what punches landed, how many punches were thrown, who's quicker on the feet. It's just so much that goes into boxing that's not just the damage. And, a win is a win. Yeah. And, I will say about the judges, one judge had it draw. Like, I was there and I didn't even have a draw. I would think one judge had it like 114, 114. And, even Rolly said, well, as soon as I heard that, I knew it was,
But that's why in boxing and UFC, the judges sometimes just are way off, Yeah. So that's why it's important to keep fighting. What were your final thoughts on this, Jamal?
Bro, she covered it. She's good.
All right, so comment below. Do you guys think that they owe each other a rematch? Do you want to see the rematch? And, who should each opponent fight next?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
But I do think the body shot, especially if he was red and he was actually investing and hitting him in the body, but you slowly feel that over a fight. And you can be eating them well and then just one of them slip through and it's just that wrong one and it'll slow you down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially whenever you hit somebody with a shot, all right, and then you start hopping on them trying to finish and things like that. And it could just be something small, like they eat one and then they slip and they touch you to the body. It'll slow. That'll definitely slow somebody down.
A little bit of inside information that, Theo had from the beginning. And again, this is weird because they know each other from a long time ago, is Theo said, I know Rolly hates body shots. So what was his game plan? Body shots. And you know what? It got him the win.
I would say of the two, from what I've seen from their fighting styles, I would say Theo is more technical. Is more of the technical boxer. I believe Rolly is more of the brawler.
Yeah.
I believe
Power
he would have
puncher.
probably had to have made it dirty.
And he was doing some weird jump. Like he was doing some weird. I was like, what is he doing? He was jump instead of moving back. He was jumping back, and I'm just like, yo, what is he doing? And then when he would punch, he would like Superman, I don't know.
He's springing back into his punches, trying to.
I don't know, but I just felt him maybe not all the way concentrated, which is the best thing that I could say. He wasn't all the way concentrated all the way.